Have you ever wondered why some older men seem to carry an irresistible aura, capable of capturing the attention of younger women without even trying? The answer goes beyond appearance or social status. It lies in deeper and subtler aspects of personality, often associated with Stoicism. In this video, we will explore 8 characteristics that make older men irresistible to younger women, highlighting how Stoic philosophy influences these qualities. The first characteristic is silent confidence. This isn't the showy confidence that screams for attention, but rather a quiet strength that emanates naturally. Think of a deep river flowing without making noise, while a shallow stream bubbles and makes a fuss. Older men who have developed this quality don't need to prove their worth every moment. They simply know who they are. This confidence comes from facing battles, overcoming falls, and the lessons learned over the years. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies not in dominating others, but in having mastery over oneself. When you control your emotional reactions and maintain serenity even under pressure, you convey a magnetic confidence that young women immediately perceive. They are naturally attracted to men who don't get rattled by minor provocations or challenges, who don't need to raise their voices to be heard, and who maintain their composure while others lose their cool. This silent confidence creates a gravitational field around you, attracting people seeking emotional stability. Have you noticed how some men can dominate a room just with their presence? It's no coincidence that these men are usually older and have cultivated this stoic quality over time. The beauty of this confidence is that it doesn't rely on external validation. It comes from within, from deep self-knowledge and acceptance of who you truly are, with your strengths and limitations. Young women, still navigating the uncertainties of youth, are naturally drawn to this inner solidity. The second characteristic is personal discipline, a fundamental pillar of Stoicism. This isn't just about following a rigid routine, but demonstrating control over your impulses and desires. Stoic men understand that true freedom comes from self-discipline. Notice how an older man with a magnetic presence takes meticulous care of himself, not out of superficial vanity, but as a manifestation of self-respect. The perfectly trimmed beard, well-chosen and appropriate clothing for each occasion, an upright posture without being rigid, all these details communicate self-discipline, but it goes beyond appearance. It's in impeccable punctuality, moderation, with alcohol, controlling the impulse to interrupt others during a conversation, and the ability to maintain an exercise routine even when you don't feel like it. Young women pick up on these subtle signals and correctly interpret them as indicators of someone who has control over his life. In a world where many young men still behave impulsively, giving in to momentary emotions, Stoic discipline stands out as a rare and valuable quality. Imagine the difference between a man who reacts impulsively to every provocation and one who consciously chooses his battles, knows when to speak and when to stay silent, and keeps his energy focused on what truly matters. This discipline creates predictability and security, elements deeply attractive to women of all ages, but especially to younger ones who are still finding their own path. Personal discipline is also reflected in the consistency of daily actions, in the small choices that, when added up, form a solid and reliable character. The third irresistible quality is genuine empathy and the ability to truly listen. Contrary to what many think, Stoicism doesn't preach emotional coldness, but rather a deep understanding of human nature and compassion. A Stoic man has developed the rare ability to be completely present during a conversation, offering not just his ears but his full attention. While many young men eagerly await their turn to speak, interrupting or mentally formulating responses while the other person is still talking, the older man with Stoic maturity knows the value of attentive silence. He listens not to respond, but to understand. His eyes maintain contact, his body turns toward the speaker, and his questions demonstrate genuine interest, not just superficial courtesy. This form of empathy creates a safe space where a young woman feels truly seen and valued, not just physically, but in her entire emotional and intellectual complexity. When you develop this ability, you notice nuances in facial expressions, tone of voice, and body language that most people overlook. You pick up on what is not being explicitly said and respond not just to the words, but to the underlying emotions. This deep connection is extremely rare in an era of constant distractions and superficial communication. Young women, often accustomed to relationships where communication is fragmented and interrupted by cell phone screens, find in this attentive presence an oasis of authentic connection. Stoic empathy also manifests in the ability to understand different perspectives without immediate judgment, creating an environment where ideas and feelings can be freely expressed. The fourth characteristic is emotional resilience, perhaps the most emblematic of Stoic qualities. The philosopher Epictetus taught that it's not external events that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. Older men who have internalized this wisdom have developed an extraordinary ability to face adversities without being consumed by them. This isn't resilience born from toughness or insensitivity, but from the broader perspective that only experience can bring. An emotionally resilient man doesn't deny his feelings. He acknowledges them, processes them, and chooses his response instead of reacting automatically. Think of the difference between a young man who has a breakdown after a professional setback and a mature man who faces the same challenge with serenity, extracting valuable lessons from the experience. This contrast is powerfully attractive. Young women, still navigating the intense emotional roller coasters typical of this life stage, are naturally drawn to someone who demonstrates stability even in turbulent waters. There is something deeply comforting about being close to a person who doesn't crumble in the face of life's inevitable storms. When you cultivate this resilience, you send a silent but clear message. I can handle anything life throws my way. This isn't an empty promise or a bravado, but a confidence based on concrete proofs, emotional scars transformed into wisdom. Resilience also manifests in the ability to recover after losses and failures, in how quickly you regain your center after being unsettled by adverse circumstances. Young women intuitively sense that a partner with this quality will be a source of strength and stability in the difficult moments that will inevitably arise. The fifth irresistible quality is unwavering integrity. Stoicism deeply values the coherence between thoughts, words, and actions, a rare virtue at any age, but especially notable in older men who have resisted countless temptations to compromise their principles throughout life. Integrity doesn't mean moral rigidity or impeccable perfection, but rather transparency and consistency in fundamental values. An integral man is the same in all environments, whether at work, with friends, or in intimate situations. There are no contradictory public personas and private personalities. This internal alignment creates a sense of solidity and reliability that is instantly perceived. Young women, often disillusioned by hypocrisy and deceit in relationships with men their age, recognize and value this rarity. Integrity manifests in the small daily choices, returning excess change received, admitting a mistake even when no one would notice, standing up for a principle even when it brings temporary disadvantages, keeping promises even when they become inconvenient. These aren't calculated actions to impress, but natural reflections of a well-formed character. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to become like your enemy." Stoic integrity means maintaining your standards regardless of how others behave. This moral solidity creates deep security, the certainty that this man doesn't have a hidden face, doesn't keep destructive secrets, and won't turn into someone unrecognizable when circumstances change. In a world where lying and manipulation have become almost banalized, genuine integrity shines like a beacon, attracting those who value truth above convenience. The sixth characteristic is serenity in the face of change and uncertainty, a quality directly derived from Stoic practice. One of the pillars of this philosophy is the clear distinction between what we can control, our thoughts, judgments, and actions, and what is beyond our control, external events, others' actions, and the past. A man who has internalized this wisdom develops remarkable tranquility in the face of life's uncertainties. While many lose their emotional balance when faced with unexpected changes, the Stoic man remains centered, adapting with flexibility without losing his essence. Imagine the difference between a young man who panics when a plan goes wrong and a mature man who simply adjusts his strategy and moves forward without unnecessary drama. This serenity is not apathy or indifference, but a lucid acceptance of reality as it is, not as we would like it to be. Young women, still building their own emotional stability, find in this serenity a safe harbor in a world characterized by rapid changes and contradictory information. There is something deeply attractive about a man who remains unshaken when everyone around him is losing their composure, who maintains his perspective when others succumb to collective panic. This quality manifests in how you react to common setbacks, a canceled flight, a failed project, a frustrated expectation. It is in these seemingly trivial moments that your true nature is revealed. Stoic serenity also includes the acceptance of impermanence and human limitations, a mature recognition that not everything is under our control. Paradoxically, this acceptance does not lead to passivity, but frees up energy to focus on what we can truly influence, creating a presence that is both relaxed and powerful. The seventh quality is practical wisdom cultivated through the years. Unlike purely theoretical knowledge or abstract intelligence, this wisdom is the direct result of lived experiences, mistakes made, lessons learned, and deep reflections. Stoicism especially values this type of real-world applicable knowledge, which allows one to discern the essential from the superficial, the permanent from the transient. An older man who has developed this quality has a broadened perspective that only time can provide. He has seen trends come and go, witnessed economic, political, and social cycles repeat themselves, and observed recurring human patterns that escape the younger generation. This personal historical perspective allows him to remain calm in the face of crises that others consider unprecedented or catastrophic. Young women, still forming their worldview, are naturally attracted to this broader and deeper perspective. There is something fascinating about conversing with someone who can contextualize current events within a larger historical panorama, who can extract valuable lessons from his own experiences without sounding pedantic or dogmatic. Practical wisdom also manifests in the ability to offer useful advice without imposition, to share insights that truly make a difference because they come from lived experience, not just abstract theories. A wise man knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to offer guidance, and when to let the other person learn through their own experiences. This wisdom is especially valued in an era of abundant but often disjointed and superficial information. Amid the constant noise of opinions and instant experts, the calm and measured voice of authentic experience has a unique power to capture attention and respect. The eighth and final irresistible characteristic is complete authenticity. Stoicism teaches that living according to our true nature is the path to inner peace and genuine happiness. Older men who have embraced this life philosophy have achieved a state of self-acceptance that allows them to be genuine in all situations. They don't feel the need to pretend to be someone they're not, to exaggerate achievements, to hide reasonable vulnerabilities, or to assume different personalities to please various people. This authenticity is immediately perceptible and deeply attractive. In a world where most people seem to wear adaptive social masks, someone genuinely authentic stands out as a precious rarity. Young women, often tired of emotional games and performative behaviors typical of relationships with younger and insecure men, recognize and value this transparency. Authenticity doesn't mean improper exposure or lack of social filter, but rather a natural congruence between the inner and the outer self. An authentic man doesn't need to announce his qualities. They are evident in his way of being. He isn't afraid to show his true interests, even when they're not trendy. He doesn't apologize for his genuine preferences or display false enthusiasm to impress. This authenticity creates a sense of freedom around him, the freedom to be who he truly is, without pretensions or deceit. And this freedom is contagious, allowing others to feel comfortable being authentic in his presence. Stoic authenticity also includes honesty with oneself about one's own flaws and areas for growth, without self-deception or excessive rationalizations. These 8 characteristics — silent confidence, personal discipline, genuine empathy, emotional resilience, unwavering integrity, serenity in the face of change, practical wisdom, and complete authenticity together form a magnetic presence that transcends chronological age or physical appearance. What makes these qualities so powerful is that none of them depend on external factors or material resources to be developed. Regardless of your current age, relationship history, or financial status, the cultivation of these stoic virtues is within reach for any man willing to do the necessary inner work. What many don't realize is that these qualities don't magically appear with age. There are young men who possess them to a high degree, and older men who have never developed them. The difference lies in the conscious dedication to personal growth and the daily application of Stoic principles. Many men spend decades merely getting older without truly maturing emotionally or developing these irresistible characteristics. To become the type of man who naturally attracts not only younger women but people of all ages, you must commit to constant evolution. The Stoic path offers no shortcuts or manipulative techniques. It requires honest self-examination, consistent practice, and patience. It's a journey of genuine transformation, not of superficial tricks. Start by observing your patterns of emotional reaction, identifying areas where you still act impulsively or lose your composure easily. Practice the conscious pause between stimulus and response, that precious space where your freedom of choice resides. Develop the habit of daily reflection, analyzing your actions and interactions to extract valuable lessons. Cultivate your mind by reading works that expand your perspective and challenge your assumptions. Not only the classic Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, but also inspiring biographies, history, philosophy, and quality literature. Intellectual breadth is an essential component of the magnetic presence we're describing. Take care of your body not out of vanity, but out of respect for the vehicle that carries your consciousness. Stoicism recognizes the importance of physical health as the foundation for mental and spiritual flourishing. Exercise regularly, eat consciously, practice moderation in all physical pleasures. Physical discipline strengthens mental discipline. Remember that the ultimate goal isn't to manipulate or impress others, but to become the best version of yourself. The attraction these qualities generate is merely a natural side effect of a well-developed character. The beauty of the Stoic path is that, paradoxically, the less you seek external approval, the more naturally you receive it. Practice daily gratitude, recognizing that many things we take for granted are actually temporary privileges. This simple, yet powerful exercise transforms your perspective on life and cultivates serenity in the face of inevitable losses and changes. Confront your fears consciously. Stoicism doesn't preach the elimination of fear, but its rational confrontation. Identify areas where avoidance is limiting your growth and take small, consistent steps to expand your comfort zone. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Develop relationships based on shared values, not just superficial attraction or convenience. Cultivate deep friendships with people who challenge you to grow and who share your pursuit of character excellence. These connections not only enrich your life, but also deepen your practical wisdom through the exchange of perspectives. Practice regular decluttering, both materially and mentally. Stoicism values simplicity and clarity. Periodically eliminate unnecessary possessions, commitments that don't add real value, and thoughts that only generate anxiety without producing constructive actions. This practice creates mental space for what truly matters. Accept reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity or resignation, but rather a lucid recognition of facts that allows for effective actions instead of futile struggles against the inevitable. Serenity arises from this acceptance, combined with a focus on what is within your control. Develop the habit of keeping your word, even with small promises. Integrity is built decision by decision, commitment by commitment. Be known as someone who keeps what he says, regardless of convenience or personal cost. This reputation can't be bought or faked. It needs to be earned through consistent actions over time. Cultivate a sense of purpose greater than yourself. Stoicism emphasizes our connection to humanity and our responsibility to contribute to the common good. A man driven solely by egocentric desires will never achieve the character greatness we're describing. Find ways to serve others that utilize your natural talents and authentic passions. Practice the art of meaningful conversation. Develop the ability to ask questions that truly matter, to listen with full attention, to express yourself with clarity and honesty. Much of genuine human connection occurs through authentic dialogue, a skill increasingly rare in an era of fragmented and superficial communication. Learn to distinguish your desires from your actual needs. Stoicism teaches that many of our frustrations come from confusing preferences with requirements. When you clarify this distinction, you gain emotional freedom and serenity. Notice how many things you consider necessary for your happiness are actually just culturally conditioned preferences. Cultivate strategic patience. Unlike passivity, this is the ability to wait for the opportune moment, to resist the temptation of premature actions driven by anxiety or impulsiveness. Correct timing often makes all the difference between success and failure, and only emotional maturity allows for this refined perception. Develop the ability to laugh at yourself, to not take your social persona too seriously. A sense of humor about your own flaws and idiosyncrasies demonstrates self-knowledge and internal security. This lightness of spirit, combined with depth of character, creates a magnetic presence that is both inspiring and approachable. Practice conscious kindness with everyone, regardless of social status or capacity to reciprocate. True character is revealed in how we treat those who can do nothing for us. This generosity of spirit, far from showing weakness, is a sign of true inner strength. Always remember that developing these qualities is an ongoing process, not a final destination. Even the wisest Stoic masters considered themselves eternal learners on the path of virtue. This intellectual humility, combined with dedication to excellence, creates the perfect balance between confidence and openness to growth that characterizes truly magnetic men. By cultivating these 8 characteristics inspired by Stoicism, silent confidence, personal discipline, genuine empathy, emotional resilience, unwavering integrity, serenity in the face of change, practical wisdom, and complete authenticity, you will not only become naturally attractive to younger women, but also build a life of meaning, purpose, and internal satisfaction. The question now is, what will you do with this knowledge? Knowing is not enough. What truly matters is the consistent application of these principles in your daily life. Stoic philosophy is not meant to be understood only intellectually, but to be actively lived. Observe your reactions to everyday challenges. Can you stay calm when provoked, or do you still let reactive emotions take over? Do you practice discipline even when no one is watching, or only when seeking external approval? Does your word carry weight because it is consistently kept? Or are your promises made lightly and often broken? Do you genuinely listen to others, or do you just wait for your turn to speak? The difference between ordinary men and those who possess a truly magnetic presence lies in these small daily choices, in these mental and behavioral habits that, accumulated over time, form an exceptional character. Start working on these qualities today. Don't let the magnitude of the challenge or awareness of your current imperfections paralyze you. As Epictetus taught, it doesn't matter where you are now, but the direction you are moving in. Every small step on the path of Stoic virtue brings you closer to the man you are capable of becoming. Remember that the ultimate goal isn't unattainable perfection, but constant progress. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and learn from your inevitable stumbles. The true Stoic is not the one who never fails, but the one who uses every failure as an opportunity for growth and improvement. Challenge yourself to change today. Will you continue reacting automatically, giving in to momentary impulses, and seeking external solutions to internal problems? Or will you begin to cultivate this silent strength that distinguishes true men from the rest? The decision is in your hands. The path lies before you, and only those who take the first step can go further. If you want to continue learning how to build this firm, mature, and irresistible presence inspired by Stoic principles, subscribe to the channel right now and activate the notification bell. Here, we don't talk about magic formulas or manipulative techniques, but about real evolution and authentic transformation. And I will be here to guide you every step of this personal development journey, sharing not only theoretical knowledge, but practical strategies and concrete exercises that you can implement immediately in your life. Remember, the truly irresistible man is not the one who tries to impress or manipulate, but the one who inspires through his example and presence. Become that man, and you will naturally attract not only younger women, but also all those who value authenticity, integrity, and wisdom in a world increasingly lacking these essential qualities.